and Meghan have made a visit to the Queen. But why? After months of complaining about security and that it was too dangerous for them to visit the UK with their family, they finally decided to make a visit. But why? You know, there's a lot of questions. Obviously, the Invictus Games are in the Netherlands, but Harry didn't go to see his family during Prince Philip's service of Thanksgiving, which was literally attended by every member of the British royal family, pretty much, with a couple of minor exceptions. And in addition to most of Europe's royalty. So kings and queens from all over Europe came to celebrate Prince Philip, but his own grandson could not do it. So why now? Why are Harry and Meghan visiting the Queen now? Well, I think it comes down to something very simple. Harry and Meghan are pretty desperate. Their PR is pretty bad overall. They're unlikable. Every poll says they're unlikable. And so they are in a desperate need of good PR. And they were just slammed on all sides for not attending Prince Philip's service of Thanksgiving. So what would they do before the Invictus Games, where they really need some good PR to kind of right the ship, make their deals with Netflix and Spotify seem actually viable for them, is that they decide to finally, you know, make amends and go visit the Queen for an olive branch and all these sorts of things. And so there's a lot of PR surrounding it. And so really, I think this is just a desperate Hail Mary PR for them to really start trying to rebuild their brand, which is failing. And I think a lot of this is driven by Meghan, but Harry's now on board too. So anyways, guys, we'll be talking about this today and what other things are Harry and Meghan trying to get out of the Queen and the monarchy? Because pretty much Meghan's an operator. She wants something. If she comes to you, she wants something from you. So they want something from the Queen. So what do they want from the Queen? We'll discuss a couple of options here in this video. And if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany, and we discuss everything related to royals. So that's news, gossip, fashion, jewelry, television shows, even movies and history. We'll discuss it all here on this channel. So if you want to subscribe, that would be great. We just keep growing and I'm so excited. And so, but like I said, today we're going to be talking about this kind of surprise-ish visit from Harry and Meghan. So obviously we knew there was a possibility they could visit. A lot of people had told them, yes, you need to visit your grandmother, and they capitulated, they did it. But it was kind of weird at the same time. So according to one person, this is the statement we got from Prince Harry's PR people. We can confirm that they visited the Dukes, and of course they had to capitalize the in for the Duke. They still want to be royals, and yet they still want to be out. It's ridiculous. Grandmother, not the Queen, the Duke's grandmother. So the Duke is more important than the Queen who made him a Duke. Just clarifying that. As we previously said he hoped to do. They stopped by the UK on their ways to The Hague to attend the Invictus Games. Obviously, you know, people are kind of glad that they did finally meet his grandmother, see his grandmother in person. For Meghan, it's been over 2 years. For Harry, supposedly it's been about a year. And so that they've, you know, decided not to visit the Queen and the rest of the royal family is very telling, and especially telling that they decide not to include Prince Charles in this statement, which they also met with, but only for about 15 minutes, apparently. Prince Charles is still apparently pretty upset by what Harry said in his interview with Oprah Winfrey, that Charles cut him off, even though Harry has $20 to $30 million in the bank, or at least he did before he married Meghan. I'm sure most of that has been siphoned at this point into various accounts that benefit Meghan and their businesses. And so, anyways, allegedly, that would be my guess. And to pay for that house that was about half of his inheritance. So maybe they can make it back, maybe not. Who knows? But at this point, they really needed to visit the Queen because they really needed to look good. Harry was pretty ravaged in the press over his decision not to attend the memorial. So they did decide to visit. And of course, Omid Scobie had to get his 2 cents in. And this is what he said, no doubt on the direction of Harry and Meghan. 3 years ago, keeping plans to visit the Queen a secret would have been impossible. Yesterday was another reminder of where the constant unwanted leaks were coming from. Her Majesty the Queen will always opt for fuss-free, so I'm sure it was much appreciated on both sides. I call foul on this. And this is because I've been watching royals for well over 10 years, and I can tell you right now, the amount of stories that came out before Meghan were very, very minimal. We got few stories from the royals. But when Meghan entered the picture, she was in the Daily Mail every single day. And it was stupid fluff PR pieces. you know, and they were clearly placed by Meghan's friends, those, you know, and Sunshine Sachs and all those sorts of things. So the palace became a leaking ship under Meghan, and ergo, I think what happened was the palace started to leak back, because the palace isn't stupid. They knew most of what Meghan was saying about herself was misleading, if not a complete lie. So they decided to leak their own stuff in competition. And so Harry and Meghan were upset when negative stories would leak, not that actual positive stories were leaked. There's a big difference. And so apparently this visit, though, was a surprise. Richard Palmer said this was a surprise to senior courtiers. And I think there was probably, Prince William is probably not happy about this visit. Prince William and his wife Catherine and their children are in the French Alps skiing. And so they were probably aware of this visit, because Harry, again, has had a huge falling out with his brother over the things he said in the Oprah Winfrey interview. And as well, you know, William and Catherine just do not trust Meghan nor Harry anymore. And so it's pretty telling that he went ahead and, you know, visited without William being there. But at the end of the day, what did Harry and Meghan want from this meeting with the Queen? Because they've told us time and time again, it's too dangerous. They are so important, guys. Harry is the 6th in line to the throne. You have to knock off 5 other people to get to him. And people are interested in not doing that. They're interested in attacking him and his wife. And I think this all comes back to Meghan being biracial, and they're pushing this racism thing, which I think is completely incorrect. I don't think that's true in terms of, I think actually Harry and Meghan's own actions are what make them deeply unpopular. And so that's kind of something that they can't totally avoid, because they are responsible for the vast majority of their own mess. So Harry and Meghan, with this meeting with the Queen, wanted one simple thing. They wanted to look good to the public before starting the Invictus Games. Harry and Meghan have had a terrible time with PR, from missing Prince Philip's service of Thanksgiving to them just being wildly unpopular, them getting the NAACP award for doing nothing, them railing against misinformation and people not trusting the media, even though the media, especially in the United States, has given people a lot of reasons to mistrust the media, and they're lecturing about the environment while at the same time taking private jets and all these sorts of things, and acting like as if they are the most important people in the entire world. But they're not. So they just really, really needed some good PR going into the Invictus Games, because they just are not popular anymore. The Invictus Games is really a time for them to reset their branding and try to kind of get out of the royal bubble. But the problem is they don't want to get out of the royal bubble, because what this whole thing has shown us over time is that Harry and Meghan, you know, despite their deal with Spotify and Netflix, they are nothing without the monarchy. Nobody cares. They don't have enough talent to really make it in Hollywood. That's why they need the Queen. They need Charles. They need William. But they only want to go to the Queen. And this is kind of the reason why. I think Harry and Meghan are hoping that the Queen can kind of set them up for life in her will. They want whatever inheritance Harry is going to get from her. They want to make sure their titles are intact. And they want to make sure that their children are probably going to be granted the title of Prince and Princess. Now, I actually have a theory about the way the monarchy can avoid actually changing the letters of patent and making it in a way where Harry and Meghan's children are not eligible for those titles. And I think they could do it in a way that works and doesn't really fall back on them too much, really. I'll submit that theory in a different video. But I think Harry and Meghan just really, really want this royal connection, because they are desperate. They are failing right now in their deals. Spotify had to twist their arm to finally get Meghan to come up with something that they can do. And they're already getting caught out in flack for it. Because Harry and Meghan, as it turns out, although they are royal, they don't have enough talent, really. Harry's never shown any creative impulses. He, you know, stole the Invictus Games from the Warrior Games in the United States. And I think as well, if you look at it, Harry, like, it was the palace machinery that put it together, not really Harry. I think Harry was deeply involved when it started, but not really anymore. And then Meghan, like, she was a 2-bit D-list actress on Suits. She was a supporting player. Somebody said in some sort of statement that, you know, it was like a drama that Meghan would have started. Guys, Meghan was almost never the star of anything. If she was, it was like a Hallmark movie. And she only did 1 or 2 of those. She wasn't even good enough for those. And so they really just don't have what they need to make this Hollywood thing work. And I think they're finding that out, and I think Netflix and Spotify are starting to freak out a bit as well. So they really need to reestablish the royal connection. And they see the Queen as a way to do that. They want their invitation to the Jubilee so they can do behind the scenes things, I'm sure, about it, or try to. And and there's even questions of whether they recorded or whether there was any video with their meeting with the Queen, which is despicable if they did do that, because that shows at the end of the day, all this is a money-making thing. Harry and Meghan only visited his grandmother to make money. That's all. That's the only reason they did it, is because they're desperate to make money, because they've created this lifestyle that's too expensive for them because they don't have enough talent to back it up. It's one thing to go out on your own. Sure, they can absolutely do that, but they don't have enough talent really to do it. And so they have to reestablish this royal connection. And so they're desperate for the PR to maintain their royalty. That's why you see in every statement, even the Invictus Games, our patron, the Duke of Sussex, the and Duke capitalized, and the Duchess of Sussex with the capitalized. They have to harp and focus on those titles because that's all they have. After about this year and a half, that's clear. It's all they have. And so this Hail Mary desperate bid to see the Queen is really a way to try to reintegrate themselves somewhat into the royal fold, because they push themselves out too far, and they have to get back in because they have to have that royal connection. Without that royal connection, they're nothing, and that's what they want from the Queen. And Prince William, if he was there, I'm sure he would have put somewhat of a stop to them meeting with the Queen on their own, because I'm sure he's very worried about what she'll promise them. But Harry is making a critical error. And it's a critical error people have made across history. And this is the thing with monarchies. The monarch does die. And so who you really need to be sucking up to is not just the Queen or the King. You need to be sucking up to the next in line and the next in line after that, because I believe Prince William will reign longer than Charles. And I'm sure Prince William will do all he can to separate Meghan from the royal fold to the best of his abilities. I think he still feels very bad about Harry, but William is a pragmatist. Prince Charles still has a bit of a soft spot because Harry is his son, and he obviously sees the same problems in Diana and Harry. And so I'm sure that pulls at his heartstrings as well. But Prince William is no fool. And as well, I think there's something with siblings as well, especially when you attack, your wife. Harry and Meghan went after William's wife. William did not take kindly to that. And apparently they came after his daughter as well, Princess Charlotte. Princess Charlotte was kind of at the focus of whatever bridesmaids kerfluffle. And if the worst that has been rumored happened, then I can really see William taking an absolute firm line against Harry and Meghan for all time. And I think, Harry and Meghan are a bit concerned, and so they're sucking up to the Queen, but not thinking about what happens when the rest of the dominoes fall. Because I think Charles and William will have to take a firm line on Harry and Meghan and really cut them off, because they keep trying to ingratiate themselves back into the royal fold or keep harping on their titles. Because again, at the end of the day, without the Invictus Games, that's all Harry and Meghan have are their titles. And that's the only reason they got in the door anywhere else. And Spotify and Netflix, I think, are finding out pretty quickly that this royal connection, although that's part of the reason they bought into Harry and Meghan, but they don't have enough creativity to go even the rest of the way by themselves. They have to have that royal connection. So I think it was a desperate PR bid to get some good publicity before the Invictus Games, which didn't really work because Meghan again wore a terrible outfit to the Invictus Games, which was part of my video that I uploaded yesterday. If you guys haven't seen it, I kind of go over Meghan's 5 best and worst looks, but kind of questioning whether she's a fashion icon or a disaster. I'll link that in the description box below. And so anyways, guys, I hope you guys liked this video. Let me know what you think. Why do you think Harry and Meghan visited the Queen? I mean, it's been posited that they want a St. George's Windsor christening for their daughter Lilibet, even though she's already a year old. If they really cared about christening their child for religious purposes, they would have already done it. That they haven't maybe done it shows that they don't really care about religion. It's all about optics. And they want to probably film it for Netflix. And do you think they're itching for an invitation to the Jubilee? Do you think they'll be at the Jubilee? Will they be allowed on the balcony at the Jubilee? Because in 2012, remember, it was just the Queen, Prince Charles, Camilla, Prince William, Catherine, and Prince Harry, the direct in line to the succession. That's now changed because you have George, Charlotte, and Louis. So it will just be Charles and Camilla, the Queen, and the Cambridges. That would be my vote. Or maybe the Sussexes push way out to the side. Because the monarchy, I know the Queen has a soft spot, and I know it's hard in the twilight of her reign, but you really have to take an absolute firm line on Harry and Meghan, because Meghan is somebody who will exploit the monarchy to the nth degree, and Harry's just going along for the ride. And so the monarchy really has to think for the future, and the future is get rid of Meghan Markle. That is the future. Make it so that she cannot exploit, because she will end up damaging the monarchy, I think. And she's already started to do it because she keeps making wild allegations and accusations. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Why do you think Harry and Meghan finally visited the Queen? Do you think it was cruel for them not to bring Lilibet and Archie with them to visit the Queen? I mean, they act like they can still visit her in a couple months, and maybe they can, but maybe they can't. Who knows? At the Queen's age, she could pass away at any moment. That's just the reality. So guys, let me know what you think. And thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. And tomorrow I'll have my first video on the Invictus Games, because it is rather interesting. And Meghan's fashion, oh my gosh, the girl just cannot help herself. And she always looks bad. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching again. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.